Hello, everyone. How are you? I think I'm coming live on my computer. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. How are you? It is Melissa coming here on a Saturday. All right, I'm on. I'm live. Awesome. Took me a little bit to get on live here. I had some computer difficulties, so I was like, "Ugh, I want to get on here." Hello, hello. If you're watching live, let me know you're here. If you are watching the replay, put replay in there and say hello. I'd love to see who popped on because I want to talk about businesses changing and want to know what you think about that. Are you leading the ship or are you mopping the deck? A lot of the times, there's only a few and far between that can spot the trend, that can spot when things are changing and to jump on course, to be in front of it. But usually people watch first and they lay back and they take a seat to see where it's going and they jump in at the end. And so I'm going to give you a little some financial education on the trend is your friend and how business is changing. Hello, Julie. Happy Saturday. How are you? So, Fortune 500 companies look different, right? When we look at business, things are changing, right? Fortune 500 companies look different. Actually, before I want to say that, before I want to get into that, before I want to get into tangible assets versus intangible assets, I'm going to share with you what that means. Um, oh, you're grilling, you're barbecuing. Nice, nice, nice. That's probably what a lot of people are doing. Um, so, in the industrial age, it was really, really important to build the economy after the war. It was really, really important to get workers so they could have some money, some paychecks, build the economy. And so a lot of jobs were created. And the education system was molded to build workers, to grow employees, right? Um, where's my thing here? John D. Rockefeller, he said, who had a piece in building the education system, said, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers, right? So that mindset was creating people to go to work for people, going to work for the 1%, building somebody else's dream so that you can get a paycheck, right? You were had a carrot dangled in front of you that when you go to work you're going to get paid, and you get paid just enough to get by, so, where it's not enough, it's just enough to get by or a little bit less. Hey there, Debbie. Hey, hey. Say hi, guys, if you're on. Just enough to get by, and then you have to go back to work to make more, right? So that you come back to work. So you have to make more because usually majority, 77%, and I say this probably every live, live paycheck to paycheck. So what happens is you spend it because we have a consumer mindset. You spend it, and then once you spend it, you got to go back to work for more. And so that is what our education system is creating, a bunch of workers, right? Go to work. Okay, create a paycheck, get a paycheck, right? The government's going to tax you at the highest. You're a cash flowing asset for the government. You're a cash flowing asset for the bank because what's going to happen is you're going to take out loans because you can't afford to buy a house unless you take out a loan. You can't afford to buy a car unless you take out a loan. Can't afford to go to post-secondary education unless you take out a loan. So all of this is creating cash flowing assets for other people, except you. Except you. Okay? 30 to 50 years ago, that was needed. Now we're shifting, all right? This is where money can shift hands and it can shift into yours. But you have to be financially educated, all right? You don't need money to make money. You need to have financial education. And so money can shift hands here from the employee to the entrepreneur, which you just have to change mindsets. You just got to change where you put your energy in and where you put your earning power and your learning power, so you can earn as you learn. All right, that's the key. So we want to create cash flowing assets. And we don't want to be a cash flowing asset for other people. But that's what's happening, right? 90% of people work for somebody else. They're cash flowing assets building somebody else's dream. But that was good 30 to 50 years ago, right? To build the economy that needed. But now with the information age, now that things are changing, where literally you can go and Google and get your information like that in a snap. There is no reason right now for people to be living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of you are sitting on skills and talent that can make you wealthy. That can make you wealthy. But because you're so trained to go to work, because you're so trained in that industrial mindset, that employee mindset, it's really hard for you to kind of shift and listen to what's going on here. There are kids, okay, listen, there are children, teenagers who are making 6 and 7 figures on YouTube. Kids and teenagers are making slime and making 6 figures, right? They are opening up toys. I don't know if you have a child that has, both of my children were caught up in that YouTube where they would watch people open up toys. Ooh, I wonder what's in this package. People are making so much money off of taking the information age, taking the technology that we have at our fingertips, we have a globe at our fingertips, and toning in to their skill and talent and sharing it via social media, right? Whatever platform, and creating a stream of income, which opens many, many doors because business is changing. Now, are you one of those people that are following the masses? Which what happens when you follow the masses is you get the short end of the stick. You get the short end of the stick because you're the last one. You're the last one to get on the trend, and the trend is your friend. The reason a lot of us don't understand how to see trends is because we're not financially educated. We're not taught to look for opportunities. We're taught to look for jobs. Now, I want to change that. That's my goal. I worked for somebody else. I was trained to get a job, and I worked for somebody else for 20 plus years of my life. All right. And about 5 years ago, I saw a different way to make money. I saw how I didn't have to trade time for money anymore. I was open to learn how to make my money work for me. We're not taught that. And so business is changing, and we need to open our mind. Business is changing from tangible assets to intangible assets. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, Fortune 500 companies were tangible. So actually, the Fortune 500 companies, 80% was tangible 25 years ago. Okay? 20% was intangible. Tangible is brick and mortar, right? Where you go into the store, where you have, you can feel it. It's hard assets, okay? Hard assets, tangible. 80% 25 years ago, 20% intangible. Intangible is cash flow. It is online royalty systems that bring in cash flow. All right, so that's intangible. Just kind of looking here at what online, digital. Now, 25 years later, what do you think it is? It's reversed, right? It's reversed. Now, tangible is 20% and intangible is 80%, right? So even before the pandemic, even before things drastically shut down, we saw tangible businesses shutting down, right? There were 60 Sears closed, Macy's, Gymboree's. Everything was turning online on your app, right? All of these apps on my phone, there's like pages of them, right? Because business is changing. You can have things at your doorstep like that. You can Google something and know something right away. You didn't have to go look in the encyclopedia. You don't have to go to the library anymore, do the research. It's literally at your fingertips. And so business is changing. Now, when you look at business changing and you look at how it's looking all online, we look at the Fortune 500 companies now who 80% is intangible, 20% is tangible. And you look at the big companies like Amazon. Amazon is $1 trillion industry. Okay? It brings in a huge amount of revenue, right? Especially now, everybody knows what Amazon is. Everybody's having packages from Amazon. Okay? Amazon doesn't own one storefront, right? How we access Amazon is from our app. Okay? $1 trillion, doesn't own one storefront. Now let's look at Airbnb. Airbnb is disrupting, so Amazon is disrupting the retail industry. Airbnb is disrupting the hospitality industry. Airbnb doesn't own one piece of real estate. And they're $1 billion industry right now. $1 billion. Right? People are booking their Airbnbs on their app. And they don't own one piece of real estate. Uber. Lyft. Disrupting the transportation industry. Disrupting it. Doesn't own one vehicle. Okay? Doesn't own one vehicle. How do you leverage Uber or Lyft? From an app. Now, what do these have in common? Distribution. Intangible. Right? $1 billion, $1 trillion companies, and they are intangible and they're distributing. Right? People are looking for other ways to make an income. They want to bring extra money in. And one of the things that the wealthy would say is, don't get another job. Don't get another job. Build a system. And so what people are doing, because they're trying to figure out, how can I make an extra stream of income? Because living paycheck to paycheck sucks. I want to have more. I want to get out of debt. I want to be able to take my family on vacation, buy a home. And so when people think, how can I bring in more income into my family? They think, oh, I need to get a second job. How am I going to get a second job? 73,000 people a day Google jobs, looking for something different. People are looking for something different. They're tired of the rat race. They want to get ahead. They're tired of just getting by or sinking in the consumer mindset of the debt and trying to crawl out of the debt. But don't get a job, build a system. And so a lot of people right now are looking at these, especially these three industries, on making other streams of income. So Amazon, literally, this is a vehicle where you can sell your product on this site, right? Distribution. Amazon is helping you distribute your product and you can make an extra stream of income. Airbnb, right, is leveraging people's homes, people's rooms. So people are making another stream of income by renting out their rooms, renting out their basement suites, right? Maybe they have an extra home that they're Airbnb and they're making extra stream of income. This Airbnb is distributing and leveraging people. Same with Uber, right? Uber, so people are working for Uber to make another stream of income. Now, what if you could use and leverage a fulfillment center like this, but it's not a second job, you're going to build a system. It's called network marketing. It's called network marketing, guys. Network marketing has been around for over 150 years. Businesses are starting to look like network marketing. Leveraging a fulfillment center, okay? Working from home, working from your phone. All right, an app. It's 150 years and business is starting to look like network marketing. All right, because you're leveraging a system. 79 million people are going to start a home-based business in the next 5 years. That's what Forbes said. Now, I'm pretty sure COVID and the pandemic have expedited that, but 79 million people will be starting a home-based business in the next 5 years. Now, again, when you're looking at business, it's changing. And so you want to be ahead. You want to be at the front of that 79 million. You want to be at the head of that so that you're not at the bottom and it's not a trend anymore. And it's not an opportunity anymore. You want to be ahead of it. Don't get a second job, build a system. The employee says, how much can I make an hour when I work? Right? How much are you going to pay me when I work for an hour? Okay, that's trading time for money. You're making earned income. You only make money when you work. And a boss determines how much you're worth. Right? How much is your time worth? And when you're an employee, the boss gets to decide. Okay? A business owner says, how much do I make when I pay when you work for an hour? How much am I going to get paid? All right, so this is a little bit different. So now somebody else is going to work and you're going to get paid, but that's how the business owner thinks. The entrepreneur says, how much am I going to get paid when I build a system? Okay, when I build a system. Now, I'm going to do this really, really quick. I wasn't going to do this, but this is actually something. Okay, this is the cash flow quadrant. Who's seen this before? Who knows the cash flow quadrant? The cash flow quadrant Robert Kiyosaki created, and these are the boxes that you are in one, maybe two. Okay, you might be dabbling in a couple, but these are how you make money. This one is the employee. The E is the employee, small business owner, big business owner, and investor. Now, over here is earned income. Okay, this is where you're trading time for money. You're making the lowest quality of income because you have to go to work, right? And when you stop working, you stop making money. Now, the employee, okay, also this is the security side. This is where you trade security, you trade freedom for security, right? You have no freedom because you're trading time for money, you're working for somebody else tells you how much you make an hour, you're taxed at the highest, right? You're working for 40 hours a week for 40 years to get 40% of your income when you retire. You're literally working to retire. And you're making the most of your money right now, but you don't get to enjoy it till you retire, and now you're making less. Okay? That's the employee, right? Now, the small business owner is where they bought themselves a job. So the small business owner, doesn't want to have a boss, right? They kind of see that they want to run things. They want to have their own control of their own time and what they do. But the thing is small businesses come with startup costs. You got to pay for employees, overhead. You're paid the last. It comes with bank loans, personal guarantees, all of that. And you are the system here. So when you leave on vacation, you can't leave too long or the business is going to flop, right? The business isn't going to succeed if you're not there to take care of it. Now, Robert Kiyosaki would say this is the poor side. Now, not always poor in money. You might be making okay money, good money in these sides, but you're poor in time, right? You don't have time to enjoy it. So this is the poor side. Poor in time, okay? And sometimes poor in time and money. Now, this is the rich side, right? This is where you're making passive income. Passive income is money you make 24/7. Passive income is money you make when you're not working because you're leveraging a system. The system's actually working for you, okay? Now, big business here, this is where the Oprahs live, the Jeff Bezos of Amazon, right? Bill Gates, all the big guys live here, big business, okay? Howard Schultz of Starbucks, right? Just to name a few. Now, to be a big business owner, Forbes says you need to have 500 employees. And so it's 500 employees. And it's about 25 million startup cost. About 5 million a year for 5 years. Okay? That considers you. Now you're considered a big business. But big businesses have systems, right? Oprah can leave her company for a month, and her company is actually still going to grow Because she's built systems, right? She has a system that works harder than she does. Now, and the investor is where everybody wants in. This is where your money is working harder for you than you are. You're investing, you're creating passive income while you're sleeping constantly, right? Cash flow is flowing to you. And so this is where we want to get from here. This is where freedom, right? We trade security for freedom because you're in control of your time, right? Time, wealth is measured in time. How much is your time worth? Now, we want to go, how do we get, right? There's kind of a gap here. How do we get from employee to here? How do we get from small business to here? It seems very far-fetched, right? We don't have 25 million to start a big business or 500 employees. We didn't come from wealth. We're not building something in our garage. Like Jeff Bezos was building something in his garage 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and now it's a huge Amazon company. Like, how do we get, most people don't have the time strength for that. And so people stay here because they don't know how to get over here. They're not financially educated, right? They went to scholastic education, professional education, learn to skill, learn a trade. Over here, usually the, the A students work for the C students, and the B students work for the government. I'm just chicken scratching here, right? So this side, you're trading freedom for security. But how do you get over here? Now, network marketing has been around for over 150 years. Businesses, as I showed you, is starting to look like network marketing. Network marketing is a way where you can leverage a fulfillment center that does all the headaches, all the corporate headaches that you don't have to deal with, right? That you don't have to deal with what the big business people are that deal with corporation taxes, lawyers, shipping, product development, branding, and paying employees, customer service. You don't have to worry about that because the fulfillment center is going to take care of that. What you're going to do is you're going to purchase a virtual franchise that is going to distribute the product. Okay, it's a distribution business. You're going to leverage the fulfillment center, just like people leverage Amazon, people leverage Uber, people leverage Airbnb to make extra streams of income. They distribute. That's what you're going to do. You're going to leverage a fulfillment center. You're going to take 60 to 65% of the profit. And the beautiful part of this model is you don't hold any of the debt. You don't hold any of the debt. It's debt-free, tax at the lowest, grows exponentially, unlimited income potential, right? You get to decide. You can give yourself a pay raise whenever you want. You get to work with who you want, where you want, with when you want, right? And that all depends on your earning power. That all depends how much money you want to make. That all depends on how many people you can help and how big it grows. Now I'm going to share with you how you get from the employee quadrant to the big business quadrant using this business model. You're going to purchase your virtual franchise, your distribution business. Okay? Your distribution business is going to cost the amount of money it costs to take the products yourself. Right? Take the products yourself, feel good, look good, and that's going to start your virtual franchise. Now you're going to align with 2 other virtual franchises. Right? Now you're going to leverage, this is where you're going to start building your system. You just open 2 locations. You just open 2 stores. Okay? So instead of purchasing let's say a supplement business, brick and mortar, and opening the doors and only making money when you work, you're actually going to expand your virtual franchise. You're going to expand your locations. And so now you're going to create a system. Now these 2, you just opened up 2 more locations. Right? You just duplicated yourself. Now there's 2. Now 2 become 4. If each person now gets 1 each, 2 become 4. Now they're going to get 1. Right? And say they get more. So this is what happens. It's Metcalfe's law. Okay? It's a law of exponential growth. 2 become 4. 4 become 8. 8 becomes 16. 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. Okay? If everybody gets 1 each a month for 9 months, the Metcalfe's law, what's going to happen is you're going to have 512 people in your business, in your distribution, in your organization. Not 512 employees like the big business that I just showed you. You're not going to have employees. You're not going to have an adult daycare. You're going to have 512 CEOs of their own virtual franchises. Multiple locations you just opened. And it didn't cost you a thing to open these. Right? And so through your organization, your distribution business is going to distribute the product that you've leveraged from the fulfillment center. Now that's a system that's working harder than you can, because guess what? If you, because 90% of people are working, so that's, you're working 9 to 5, you're working on your living because you've paid, you have a living, you have a life you've created that you got to pay for, bills, debt load, right, that you have to maintain. So you're working on your 9 to 5, you have to work on your fortune 5 to 9. All right, and part of this is you need to build multiple streams of income, so that instead of just getting by, or instead of drowning in debt, you can get ahead. You can start making your money grow. And so we use this system to create passive income. Okay, and so people make money, but systems create wealth. So now, say you can work an hour a day to create your future, to build your future. Okay, on this part, on your financial future, maybe you can do an hour a day. Now, if everybody does what you did, they'll work an hour a day, building their future. Now, in 9 months, you have 512 hours clocking in your business in one day. In 24 hours, you have 512 hours clocking in your system. And you're getting paid for one. Or you're getting paid for 512 hours and you're working one. That is wealth. That is making money work for you. That is creating cash flow that finds you by using this system. Now, we have a proven system that has been time tested for 30 plus years. We don't play around. We have success. I have a team of successful entrepreneurs, mentors that pour into myself and my team that teach us how to do this right, that teach us how to have a longevity of a business that grows like this. Not that goes like this, but that grows like this, because we're building people. All right, you build the person's going to build the business. We're going to build entrepreneurs. We're building leaders. We're pulling that beast, that talent, that skill that you've been locking inside because you were told you just go to work. We're pulling that out of you so that you can build your network. Your network is your net worth. So you're going to build your network. You're going to build your system using your network. You're going to open up multiple locations so that you can build a system that works harder than you can. And in 9 months, you have 500 people in your business. Now you're a big business. You just switch quadrants. To make more money, you don't want to get another job. You want to switch quadrants. And we just switched you to the big business quadrant in 9 months. Might take a year, might take 2 years. But if you can build your fortune in 3 to 5 years, where you're building a system that works harder than you can, that you do, helping a lot of people do the same, you're going to make the highest quality of income and you're going to get your time back. That's what wealth is. That's what wealth is. So what is better? Business is changing. Business is changing. I want to just see the richest people look for and build networks. Other people look for work. But as we see business changing, as we see the platforms rising, and you have your globe at your fingertips, you want to jump on this. But first you have to get educated. And so we have a development program that's free to our team that teaches you so you can earn as you learn. Quit listening to the wrong people. Quit listening to the people that are stuck in the 50 and 60 years ago where you were taught to go to work. Start listening to people who paved the way, who are leaders, who went through the rigors of business and who know how to make the highest quality of income and can teach you. And it's free. all you need to do is start your own virtual franchise, and you're going to learn how to make the highest quality. What else do I want to say in here? I don't think I want to say anything else. I think I've said it all. You have to love your time. How much is your time worth? I'm just going to close with this. How much is your time worth? You come, you build the distribution from business from home. Okay? Did I just put pen on myself? Using this vehicle, leveraging a fulfillment center, okay? Taking 60 to 65% of the profits, taking on zero of the debt, starting earning your time back, and you can build it in 3 to 5 years. You can create rivers of income. We get paid 8-9 ways every Friday. Doesn't that sound good? So that you can get ahead. You can pay off that credit card. Think about it. If you can make another stream of income from home where you don't have to leave, right, and trade more time for money, what would you do with it? Would you take your family on vacation? Would you upgrade to first class? Maybe you'd save up for a down payment on a family home, so you don't have to rent and pay somebody else's mortgage. Maybe you want to buy a rental property so you can start building wealth. You can start investing so that you can leave a legacy, right? Maybe you want to have some money so you can pay for your children's college, university. Maybe there's a business you want to start, right? Maybe you don't, maybe you want to build your credit because maybe the banks aren't, maybe you don't make enough to give you a loan. Maybe you want to go to the gym, have a trainer, maybe you want a maid. I love having somebody come and clean my house because that gives me more time to do the things that I want to do, right? That is so helpful. I just got my time back because I'm able to afford somebody else to do the things that give me back more time. Maybe you want a chef or pay for childcare, right? That's so expensive. What would you do if you had another stream of income? I can help you. I can help you do that. Don't get a second job, build a system. I hope this was helpful. I can't wait to talk to you, and reach out soon, and I love you. Have a great weekend.